Welcome to Eco Frontline. Today we are talking about something that is affecting us all, climate change. You might have noticed the weather getting a bit more unpredictable or seen the impact of pollution in your community. It's all connected to one big issue, carbon emissions. Let's break it down in simple terms. Carbon emissions, simply put, they are the bad stuff we release into the air when we burn fossil fuels like coal, oil, and gas. This includes things like driving cars, burning firewoods, using electricity from power plants, and even some industrial processes. These emissions are like a thick blanket around the Earth, trapping heat and causing our planet to warm up. This warming is what's driving climate change, and it's having a huge impact on our environment, our health, and our future. In this episode of Eco Frontline, we shall be educating you on the science behind carbon emission, the impact of climate change on our planet, and what we can do to reduce our carbon footprint. I am Nolin Ebel Ame. Let's get started by sampling the opinion of people on the street as regards carbon emission, what they actually know.
Carbon emission, this is the release of toxic gas from vehicles. Example, we have vehicles moving around, and when their engines ignite, they create a very harmful substance known as carbon emission, which can be Can be dangerous to the body system of human beings, and also a very toxic, dangerous material to the environment.
Carbon emission, Madam, I don't know.
Carbon emission is a function of industrial activities where you have large companies um, in the course of their industrial activities emit some organic acids into the atmosphere. That also contributes to the depletion of the ozone layer, which eventually results in the climate change.
I understand that this weather that has been changed, it happened due to the cutting of grasses, bush burning, and there many something like this, which we are doing it properly. So we have to stop it if we want our weather to be good as it is. That was my own understanding.
For example, when using firewood as a source of energy to cook, the smoke released while burning it affects our atmosphere and the depletion of the ozone layer. Yes.
When toxic air is released to environments where humans are, it is able to affect how their well-being is going to turn out. For example, where you have roads that they dump dirt by the side and then people are passing during the day, so many people are using that road. It could be vehicles, people are trekking, or just basically any form of movement, and then the dirt are being burnt during the day instead of during the night. So it can affect the passerbys that are using that road to go to wherever they are going, from inhaling the toxic air that is coming from the process of burning the dirt.
Our planet is wrapped in a natural, life-sustaining blanket of gases. This is called the greenhouse effect. Think of it like a glass greenhouse for plants. It traps some of the sun's heat, keeping Earth warm enough for life to thrive. For centuries, this system stayed in perfect balance, but human activity has tipped the scale. By burning fossil fuels like coal, oil, and natural gas for cars, electricity, and industries, we have released massive amounts of greenhouse gases, especially carbon dioxide, into the atmosphere. Methane from agriculture and gas flaring adds even more. Today, carbon dioxide levels are higher than at any time in the past 800,000 years. And this has thickened the blanket, trapping extra heat. The result? Global warming, a rapid sustained rise in Earth's average temperature. And global warming drives climate change. It's not just about hotter days. It is about a complete disruption of Earth's climate systems. More floods, stronger storms, longer droughts, rising seas, and a direct threat to our food, our homes, and our health. We see the evidence here in Nigeria. The Sahara Desert is creeping south, swallowing farmlands and fueling farmer-herder conflicts. Lake Chad, once a lifeline for millions, has shrunk by over 90%, displacing communities and destroying livelihoods. Coastal erosion is eating away at the south, threatening cities like Lagos and the Niger Delta. And every year, floods sweep through communities across the nation, destroying homes, crops, and lives. Now, let's shift to another critical issue in our atmosphere: ozone layer depletion. The ozone layer is a thin shield high up in the stratosphere. Its job isn't to trap heat, it is to protect us, acting like Earth's sunscreen, absorbing most of the sun's harmful ultraviolet rays. For decades, we were destroying this shield with chemicals we used every day, especially chlorofluorocarbons or CFCs found in old aerosol sprays and refrigerators. Once released, these chemicals floated up into the stratosphere, breaking down ozone molecules and creating holes in our shield. The consequences are dangerous. Higher risks of skin cancer, cataracts, and weakened immune systems. Damage to crops, aquatic life, and marine ecosystems. Disruption of the entire food chain. Even shifts in global weather patterns. Chlorofluorocarbons and halogens, once used in fire extinguishers, release chlorine and bromine atoms that destroy ozone far more effectively than nature can repair. Nitrous oxide from agriculture and industries adds to the problem, even causing acid rain. The good news: the Montreal Protocol, a global agreement, has dramatically reduced CFC emissions. But the challenge isn't over. Many ozone-depleting substances are also powerful greenhouse gases, contributing further to global warming. So what does all this mean for Nigeria? It means climate change is not a distant threat. It is already here. It threatens our economy, our food security, and even national security. Rising temperatures spread diseases like malaria, food prices soar as harvests fail, and millions risk displacement from floods and droughts. But there is hope. Nigeria has committed to the Paris Agreement, pledging to cut greenhouse gas emissions and shift towards renewable energy. We have vast solar power potential in the north, strong winds along our coasts, and hydropower resources waiting to be tapped. Communities across Nigeria are planting trees, exploring clean cooking stoves, recycling waste, and finding innovative ways to adapt. Our youth are rising with ideas and technology to build a greener economy and new green jobs. And as individuals, we can play our part using energy wisely, reducing waste, planting trees, supporting clean energy, and spreading awareness. Because climate change is not just an environmental issue, it is an economic, social, and security challenge, and it demands action from all of us. Protecting our planet starts here. It starts now, and it starts with you and me.
All right, so talking about carbon emission. Carbon emission comes from two sources. We have the natural source and then the human activities-based source of carbon emission. Firstly, from natural source, we have decomposition, organic materials from any source, whether it's from agricultural waste, whether it's animal decomposition, all form of decomposition releases carbon into the atmosphere. We also have from the ocean. We know that the ocean releases carbon, and sometimes it takes in carbon depending on the temperature. And then other sources of carbon from natural sources. But the most important aspect of carbon emission has to do with human activities, which is mostly from the burning of fossil fuel. And that is where the attention should be paid to, because we have realized that over time, the human activities contribute largely to carbon emission. And the effect is, is everywhere. You can see it in global warming. We have the effect in climate change. We also have it in ozone depletion, as well as many other environment topics that is global today. If we are to pick them one after the other, look at the issue of global warming. Everybody have this experience today. You say, is either it's too hot, or it's too cold, or the rain is too much, or there's a dry season, there's drought, deforestation, all sort of things. Now, this comes because there's a tipping in the balance of nature. From the cycle that we learn in elementary school, we learned about the water cycle. It comes down as rain and it goes back. Nature arranges everything perfectly until some of these activities, especially the discovery of fossil fuel that releases very huge quantity of carbon into the atmosphere. Now, what are the adverse effects of carbon emission? Look at them. Global warming. For instance, let's take agriculture, for instance. It affects the livelihood of the people so much, because in places where they are supposed to farm, maybe in the hot season, now the whole climate has already changed. It's changing so rapidly because of global warming. What we need to do, in my opinion, would be that we should adopt more of the renewable solutions. For instance, we have, instead of relying on the maybe hydro electricity or gas-powered engine for electricity, we look at something like the solar system that, has very low global warming potential. Global warming potential in the sense that when you compare it to the potential of global warming from carbon, it has less in comparison. So those are the things that we would suggest. Sometimes let's have renewable energy in different areas of transportation, in shipping. Look at our Nigeria today. If you ask what is the number of vehicles that we have that are moving on our roads, you hear millions of them. And sometimes the idea of a mass transit is very good. Reason is this: we have 10 people in an office, all of them drive their own cars, all of them releasing carbon at the same time. But if they use a mass transit, it is just one vehicle conveying 20 people, and so minimizing the quantity of carbon that is releasing into the atmosphere. Then we also have the issue of this herds moving from one place to another, and as they move along, they drop their kind of waste on the ground, and it releases very huge quantity of methane. So, and that's why the whole idea of ranching has been suggested by so many people across board. And the reason is this: if you put the animals in one place, it's easy for you to manage their waste. Sometimes you even use it for what we call biogas and so many other things, biofertilizer, and you can put it to good use instead of them moving from everywhere, dropping the waste everywhere they go. And so the same thing happened to the release of methane. If I'm to suggest, I would just say that from the point of view, there is the part for government, there is the part for professionals who are stakeholders, and then there is the part for the people, community. On the part of government is just to make a lot of laws, and some of them with incentives, because if you tell someone who uses an old AC in his house and telling him that he needs to buy a modern class AC, which costs almost 4 times the money, there should be some incentives in some ways. I mean, that will encourage the people. So government is to create the law, the frameworks, as well as create some incentive on the part of the stakeholders. I think education is very important because an average person on the street does not understand the balances of the environment at all. Ask an average person, what does global warming means? What do they understand by it? You will see that, and if majority of these challenges we are having comes because of human activities, and then the humans are not aware. And then every day we say we are creating solutions, but the people that the solution is supposed to target don't know anything. Then I think we need to do more in that area. So the stakeholders have that responsibility, whether they are government agencies, they are non-governmental organizations, multilateral, multinational organizations, and all of that. They need to commit more into awareness when it comes to environment. Obviously, the evidence are here. We have more deforestation, droughts. You can see the issue of flooding. Flooding and erosion. And if we are tying it to gas emission, carbon emission, as well as global warming, there is a correlation. For instance, before, we have our soil is soft. When the rain falls, it quickly suck it up. Today, if you go to some part of the country, the ground is so hard that when the rain comes, it's like a ladder, it's like a covering. Water just pass and then begin to move into places it's not supposed to move. So some of these things, if you have to explain the science of global warming as well as climate change, as well as ozone depletion, we will take the whole day, all right? But these things but how can the people get to know about it? And on the part of the people, I think we should create more of the sensitization, awareness, and people education, especially education. If we are able to do this, I believe that we can begin to reverse some of the adverse effects that we're already seeing and then mitigate against that of the future. And people can adapt behaviors, attitude that can help the country to achieve this goal. And those are my take.
The devastating impact of carbon emission is really huge, as explained in the feature we watched earlier, and also further explained by the environmentalist and climate change expert, Mr. Faruno there. Now, the question is, what can we do to further reduce the damage caused by these harmful gases affecting our ecosystem? Let's educate you a little bit on how catalyst converter works, which is a crucial emission control device fitted into a vehicle's exhaust system, playing a vital role in reducing harmful pollutants. The next feature explains further.
What's the biggest pollution source from a car? Most people think of the exhaust pipe. But what if I told you there is a secret superhero working tirelessly under your car to make that air cleaner? We are talking about the catalytic converter. Located in the exhaust system between the engine and the muffler, the catalytic converter is a simple-looking device with a massive job. Its mission: to take the toxic gases that a car engine produces and turn them into something much less harmful. Without it, our air quality would be a lot worse. But how does it work its magic? The name gives us a clue. It uses a catalyst. The inside of a catalytic converter is a ceramic honeycomb structure coated in precious metals: platinum, palladium, and rhodium. These metals are the catalysts that speed up chemical reactions without being used up themselves. As hot exhaust gases containing harmful compounds like carbon monoxide, hydrocarbons, and nitrogen oxides flow over this honeycomb, two main chemical reactions take place. First, in the reduction catalyst, rhodium and platinum work to break down nitrogen oxides. They rip the oxygen atoms away, leaving behind harmless nitrogen gas and oxygen gas, which are already major components of the air we breathe. Second, in the oxidation catalyst, platinum and palladium add oxygen to convert carbon monoxide into a much less toxic gas, carbon dioxide. They also oxidize the unburned hydrocarbons, turning them into carbon dioxide and water vapor. In a matter of seconds, this incredible process transforms over 90% of a car's harmful emissions into a mixture of nitrogen, oxygen, water vapor, and carbon dioxide. The result is cleaner air for everyone. The catalytic converter has been a mandatory component of most cars since the mid-1970s, playing a crucial role in reducing smog and improving public health. So, the next time you see a car on the road, remember the powerful pollution-fighting hero working silently beneath it. The catalytic converter is a perfect example of how engineering and chemistry can come together to create a cleaner, more sustainable world.
Interesting. I'm sure you have been educated very well on the role catalyst converter plays in your vehicle, in reducing harmful substances, most especially the pollutants in our cars that are harmful to the environment. Some people have this perception that it is actually meant to reduce fuel consumption, but it's actually protecting the environment from bad gases emitting from the exhaust. All right, from that end, we take you to the global spotlight. Let's have a look. As we conclude this episode of EcoFrontline, looking at the critical issue of carbon emissions and the urgent need for sustainable solutions, the catalyst converter in our vehicles is one of the alternatives we need to explore to help reduce carbon emissions that poses challenge to our atmosphere and, of course, to our environment. Let's continue to innovate, invest, and advocate for a cleaner, greener future. Join us next time as we tackle more pressing environmental issues. I am Norlene Ebel Ame. On behalf of the crew, I say thank you for watching, and let's keep our environments safe and clean.